So today I want to talk about this wireless microphone that I just bought. I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but that's the voice quality coming through. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, and as you can see, it's pretty bassy, right? It's pretty nice. I've got the bass turned up on my amp. It's still a little tinny, but definitely you can hear it pretty decently. So I'm just going to turn that off and return to normal audio. So this is the WXM01 UHF wireless microphone from Bietrun. And the reason I got this is I wanted something a little unobtrusive and less bulky to deal with than a microphone, mic cable, and a mic stand for playing some outdoor gigs. And I wanted something inexpensive and easily portable, and that was going to be very easy to use. Part of the reason I wanted something that was a little less visual and in your face as an actual mic stand was playing some outdoor shows, and it's always better to keep a lower profile when you're maybe setting up in the park. You don't want to turn up with an electric guitar, a bunch of mic stands and effects pedals. Maybe that's just going to be a bit too much noise, and you might have some issues with park rangers or what have you. Cast my mind back to playing an outdoor show with Demonic Sweaters sometime last year. One of the parks off Brooklyn Bridge near the pier, and we tried to play an outdoor show, and we were stopped after 2 or 3 songs. And I had my electric guitar and my mic stand set up, and just maybe visually that looked a little bit too much like full-on amplification. Keeping a little bit of a lower profile with the drum kit not mic'd up, and with an acoustic guitar, a little bit of amplification on the acoustic guitar, but not going too crazy with a full electric. And then just having something as unobtrusive as this, it just visually, it looks a little bit different than full outdoor gig rig, and we figured that might aid our chances of being able to play a fairly quiet enough set without running into trouble. And that's exactly what happened. So that was my kind of use case for needing something like this. If you're looking for something that's really heavy duty, high quality for for live streams or live performances, or you're a personal trainer running a class in the gym, or you're at a conference speaking, this is probably sufficient, but it may not be exactly the quality you're looking for. But the reason is the price. This thing was about $30 or less, I think $28.95. I went looking around some of my local stores, and one of the audio-visual computer gear stores I go to, they always have high quality equipment, and they're experts, they're very friendly, they know their stuff. They said they didn't have any in stock, but they could get one in stock and it would be about $300. So think about that. That's over 10 times the price of this piece of equipment. And I asked them, well, that's 10 times the price of what I've seen on Amazon. And why is that? They said, well, it sounds good. So yes, there's probably a quality gap there if you're saving that much money and you're only paying 10% of the price. So if you want something really, really high quality that's going to replicate the sound that you're getting from using an actual microphone and a mic stand with a cable, then maybe this isn't exactly what you're looking for. But if you're looking for something inexpensive that does the job and is pretty sufficient, I think this is pretty awesome. So part of the live test or the live scenario we put this through, we were running it through a portable amplifier which had 2 mic inputs, and I was running a guitar through one of those mic inputs. Now, I'm not 100% sure whether that's really the best scenario. Some of these inexpensive portable amplifiers, they say they have a guitar input, but is it really that much different than the mic input, or is it just labeled differently? It's hard to tell. But I know that my portable amplifier, which we didn't use yesterday, which is my Pile amp, and I've reviewed that in a separate video from back when we did that last outdoor show, that actually does have a specifically labeled guitar input. Now, I seem to remember that running my vocals, Demonic Sweater's vocals through his wireless mic on the drum kit and my guitar through there, it wasn't the highest quality sound I've ever heard in my life, but for the purposes of playing outdoors and being heard, it was more than sufficient at that price. And the amp, I think, was something like $150, not that expensive. So the amp we were using yesterday, similar price range, pretty small, very portable, and I'm just not sure whether it's built to take a guitar and a mic. So I felt like there was a little distortion on the guitar, and for some songs a little distortion on the vocals as well. We did a cover of Radiohead's Conroy Police, and some of that gets pretty waily and screechy, and I got the mic right up against my face, so I wonder whether that's just aiding a bit of the distortion. So in the track recording you can definitely hear some distortion. At other times, some of the songs were a little lighter, more folksier, and I had the mic a bit further away from my face, and I felt like the quality wasn't bad at all. Moment is gone, so don't ask me no more questions. I saw what you did. We recorded some footage on an iPhone, and honestly the footage sounds pretty decent for playing a live outdoor show with a straightforward portable mic. So the mic comes in 2 pieces when you get it in the box, and you can just click it together real simple like this. Boom. It comes with the receiver and the mic, and you simply turn both of them on. You're going to plug this into your amplifier, and it's going to pair up with this, and you're good to go. It does come with, I think, up to 17 different channels, I think. So if you have a number of different wireless mics in play, you can change channel and try to find a different frequency so there isn't any overlap. It has a volume control with, I think, 13 different volume levels, and it defaults to 8. I found the highest volume level was necessary when I was playing along with that drum kit, so I had to crank the volume quite a bit. Part of that is I'm putting the guitar through there too, and I wanted to be able to hear both of them, and there was a limit to how much balancing I could really do there because it was a single volume control on this amplifier. Whereas my Pile amp actually has separate volume controls for each of the different inputs, so probably would have been a better amp to use in the moment. It also has an adapter, so you can easily plug that into most inputs on most amplifiers, or you can just use the line in option if you need. It charges pretty quickly. The charge lasts a fairly good, decent amount of time. The charger's pretty cool. It's a USB, but it's kind of forked, so you can charge both the receiver and the mic broadcaster at the same time. Very straightforward, just goes over the back of the head like that, and it is adjustable, so you can kind of click it around. You might have to move it around to find the optimal position, and it doesn't stay exactly where you want it though. That's kind of the one drawback I found. We're playing outdoors, 85-degree heat, and you're playing the guitar, you're singing, you're trying to produce the energy, and you work up a little bit of a sweat in the sun, and then it starts to slip a little bit. So I noticed that I would kind of start off with it right in front of my lips, and then through head movements and a little bit of working up the sweat, it would dip a little bit. And when you're in the middle of playing, it's hard to kind of adjust the thing and get it right back to where you need. So as simple as it is with that little loop over the back of your head, it's not as anchored as maybe you'd like it to be, to make sure it's consistently where it needs to be. So there is a bit of trial and error in feeling like you have the right volume level. So I would recommend, based on my experience with it, if you're using it for kind of DIY gigs or outdoor gigs or that kind of stuff, that you try to get an amplifier that has a dedicated guitar input and a way to control the volume level separately on the different inputs, so you have a little more flexibility around distinctly controlling how loud the mic is going to be alongside the guitar, and that you're less worried about some distortion or less worried about the amp taking too many signals that it can't really handle, so you can get the clearest possible signal out of the mic. But for $30 to just turn up in Prospect Park and play a gig, this is perfect. It also saves me having to carry a mic stand and a microphone next time. So we brought those along just to make sure, in case this thing didn't work, we would have a backup. But knowing that this works fairly acceptably, that means next time it's one more piece of equipment that I don't need to carry. A heavy, long mic stand, mic cable, that's just out of the picture now. So like I said, you can get some of these things for $300, but unless I'm going to play a lot of outdoor shows where I'm cranking a lot of money through there and I'm being paid for it, and I want to invest a bit more in the quality, this is perfectly acceptable. Also check out the full session. Demonic Sweaters has posted a full recording of what we played over on his channel, and I'll probably be posting a few excerpts of that. The quality isn't, as I say, it's not like a home recording where I'm using an audio interface and mics and I'm trying to balance the sound a bit and put some reverb and compression. It's not even using, say, my digital Zoom recorder, which I'm using right now, or even the camera's input microphone, which are pretty good quality. It's just using the iPhone, and it's picking up the fact that you've got this and the guitar going through a portable amp. So sound quality is not as crisp and as beautiful as some of the other stuff I post on the YouTube channel, but I think the performances were good. And we were just playing outside, and we got a bunch of kids around us by the end of the afternoon. We had, 10 or 15 little toddlers all dancing around, so their parents were a captive audience too, and there were a few other bypassers and people wandering up and down and checking us out. So we had a ton of fun. We played for about an hour and a half all told, and I think we're going to try to get a few more of those sessions in over the summer. So as always, when I get new gear, always happy to share my thoughts on it. If you have recommendations for other gear that I should consider, please put them in the comments below. If you like what you see on the channel, do hit the like button, hit subscribe so that you're notified when I post new content, and I'll see you again in a future video. So thinking about this a little further, I did want to actually check this out alongside the guitar using the Pile amp, and this Pile portable PA system was $135, so it's pretty inexpensive. So it's kind of comparable to what we were using in that last live set in Prospect Park. And I said that I felt that the guitar was coming through a little distorted in that, and I think part of that might be because it doesn't have a specific guitar input. This one has an input that's labeled specifically for guitar, so instruments and mics, kind of a different payload that's coming across, so not necessarily interchangeable in terms of putting the input through. But you could raise the question, well, how strict is that? When they produce these low cost amps, is it really something very different about the circuitry behind the guitar and the mic input, or is it just a label they slap on? Is it really the same under the hood? So hard to kind of tell. I did feel like I was getting a distortion on my guitar sound, irrespective of whether I cleaned it up as much as I could. But having returned to plugging even my electric into this guy, I felt like I was getting a really clean signal. And then I put the wireless mic through that too, and I felt like I was getting a pretty good signal there too. So I think that the sort of slightly distorted sound that I got from the wireless mic and the guitar combination in Prospect Park was quite likely down to the fact that the amp we were using, unlike this one, doesn't have a specific guitar input. I'm eager to see if we can try this with our next live set. in the Prospect Park if we do that, and how that sounds. But just in terms of how this on its own sounded, there is a bass and treble adjustment, but I still felt like it was a little metallic, a little tinny. It was good, very sensitive. You know, the slightest rattling of the headset equipment, the sound of me breathing was picked up and broadcast through here, so it's very sensitive, and I felt the volume level was pretty good. So I still stand by what I said. For an inexpensive wireless mic, this is pretty awesome. This does the job. You don't need to carry full mic stand, full mic and cable, the extra weight and hassle of that. But I will say, comparing the two, comparing a regular mic, this is the Behringer XM8500 inexpensive mic. The link to my review of this is in the comments below too. Comparing the two, it's kind of incomparable. The depth and bass and richness that you get from the Behringer mic just plugged in, it's better. It's going to give you better sound. It's going to sound higher quality. So if you really want to sound professional, either you're going to pay for a more expensive wireless mic, $300 or something like that, or you're going to go with a proper microphone. This thing costs, I don't know, $20, $30, I want to say, if I remember correctly. So I would say this is what you want if you really want higher quality sound. But if you want something portable that you can forego carrying the mic stand and the cable and all the rest of that, and the weight of the mic itself, and just have something like this, and you can play an outdoor gig, and you can portable, you can be heard, it does the job, this is more than sufficient. And something else I was kind of curious about was just the range on it. Now, I didn't do a massively scientific test. I didn't play an entire show stepping all the way down the path or around the corner just to see how far it goes. But I did do some kind of quick and rough test. I put the pile down the hall by my front door, and I went into my bedroom and closed the door. Now that's about 35 feet roughly in a straight line, I want to say. And you've got some furniture, a couple of doors, a wall in the way, a refrigerator, a bunch of equipment giving off other signals like the laptop, the wireless router, the cell phone booster, all of this extra equipment in there that's filling up the airways. And it worked just fine. So that's probably much further than I expect to get away from the receiver, to be honest. But in terms of receiver distance, I think that was a pretty decent test for me to feel comfortable about the problem of interference. Certainly in New York, there's a lot of stuff in the airways, so that can come up. As I mentioned, this does have a number of different channels you can swap to as well, so you can have a better chance of finding a channel that's clean. So that's all I got for this week. If you like what you see on the channel, as always, do go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that bell icon so that you're notified when I post new content. And I'll see you again in the next video.
Thank you.